So today guys, I'm giving you 5 meta formations that you should be running right now to get you more wins post-patch in FC25. Now if you're new to the series, man, this isn't just 5 random formations. This is 5 formations that I run at the same time in my team, in-game, and when I switch to each one, and the exact scenario where each one of these works to result in you getting more wins. Now, I've been doing this series for a while. I'd got up to the point of doing 5 one-striker formations when they dropped this patch on us, which, you know, super helpful. So now I've had to start all over again. But yeah guys, this could be a long video, so let's just pop straight into it with the balance formation. And this is a formation that you use from the start. You want it to be ultra balanced, both good attacking and defensively, so that you can sort of suss your opponent out, see what they're doing. And to do this, you're best off using the best formation in the game. As a side note here guys, I run this as my default formation, and that's why I get to run 5 formations. If you don't run this as your default and you need something different for chemistry, then maybe just pick 4 of these. But you can run 5 if you run the best formation in the game as your default, which is the 4-2-1-3. Of course it is. Even after this patch, no matter what they do, no matter how they try to kill it, this formation is still going to be the best in the game. What I would say is there's definitely formations that are closer now, and a couple of them are coming later on in the video, but this formation still absolutely slays. For the build-up style, you're going to go counter. Now, this formation is great no matter what you run, but counter at the moment is definitely the way to go. I've spoke about it on my last couple of videos, but the meta at the moment is definitely the opponent just sitting in a deep block and you sitting in a deep block, waiting until you eventually win the ball and then bombing forward and trying to counter attack. And obviously the best way to do this is with counter, but in this formation anyway, counter just works so well. It's all about wing play, and you can run short passing, you can run balance, but you'll just have that little bit of hesitation, whereas if you run counter, your wingers are bombing down the line before you can even get the pass off, and then it's just so easy to find those through balls, do those cutbacks in, and get your striker in on goal. And obviously the 95 depth has been nerfed. Rest in peace, 95 depth. It was fun while it lasted, but as I've always ran pretty much, I think probably from like FIFA 14, 15, I always run sort of a high line, but not anything crazy. So I think 70 is the best way to go. I think that's going to be the new meta from now on. For the player roles, your goalkeeper is personal preference. Both your fullbacks are on fullback and defend. Both your centre backs are on defender, defend. Both your holding midfielders are on deep line playmaker and build up, with your cam being on shadow striker and attack. Both your wingers are on inside forward and balanced, with your striker being on advanced forward and attack. And here's what it looks like with the ball guys. I've been through this on the channel before, but for those of you that are new, it's obviously a very attacking 4-3-3. These 2 CDMs don't actually play here when you have the ball. This graph is very misleading. They'll actually push forward, or at least one of them will, depending on the circumstances. But sometimes you'll have both of them push forward into sort of next to this, where the shadow striker is. And then the shadow striker will split between the wingers, and then you'll have sort of a 4-2-4 going on, which is an incredible attacking formation. But when you defend, it does actually defend like this. So you've got a bank of 6 players that are constantly blocking those through balls into their attackers. It's just amazing, solid, balanced formation. And what I'd say at this point is that most people will run this as their starting formation. And the best part about balanced starting formation is that you can suss your opponent out. You want to see how they play, and then you can tweak and make adjustments to what's going to suit you best. If everyone else is playing the 4-2-1-3, or the majority of people, if you run the 4-2-1-3, you're going to be equally matched, so you can see what they're doing a lot easier. Are they going to press you quickly? Are they going to go for long balls in behind? And then you can adapt and obviously get those wins. But for each player guys, for your goalkeeper, you want to be looking for someone tall, someone meta. I mean, your best options are Yashin, Buffon or Van der Sar. That's probably the best you're going to get. There'll be some team of the seasons come out, but icon chemistry is great to have on a goalkeeper. For your fullbacks, you want fast, strong, tall players preferably, so that if those over-the-top through balls come, they can deal with them. But you also now want them to have a bit of a pass in them as well, because you get a bit more space now that the 95 depth meta has been nerfed. These players will be your outball quite a lot, and they'll have to ping a pass into your cam or out to your wing. So it's definitely good to look for players with good passing here. So I'm using the Teletubby Lala and Junior Furpo team of the season. Both have incredible passing playstyles and yeah, just amazing on the defence. But as with many of these formations, you keep them on fullback defence so that they stay in that line of 4. Like I said, the meta is a fast counter at the moment. If you've got your fullbacks bombing forward, you are going to be susceptible defensively. I'm not saying that I don't do it, and you'll see that later on in the video, but for a balanced formation, always have your fullbacks on fullback defend. It may be boring, but it'll get you more wins. And on that case of boring, for your centre-backs, defender defend is the way to go. It's always going to be the way to go. You don't want to change this. Don't mess around with it. Defender defend is the best role. Otherwise, they won't be giving it to every goddamn promo card that comes out. These are there to defend and solely defend. You don't need them to do anything else. You want them to have anticipate plus if possible, if not something like intercept, block, something like that. Just anything that's going to help you and the AI help you in making interceptions, making blocks, getting in front of the attacker, just so that you can stop those through balls coming through and stop those quick counter attacks. Both your holding midfielders are on deep line playmaker build up, and like I alluded to in the with the ball section, this essentially is your box to box central defensive midfielder. They're going to defend really deep, which is great, but when you have the ball, they'll both push forward and offer you an option in the attack as well. So I'm running Yaya and team of the season Declan Rice, my best pull so far. But yeah, both of them are incredible box to box midfielders, both have CM box to box. So if you're struggling to think what sort of player to look for here, try and find one that's got deep line playmaker plus and maybe CM box to box as well. But yeah, you want them to be good at passing, good at defending, pretty much good at everything, because they will be your all-rounders. Now for your cam, I run Shadow Striker Attack. For me personally, and it does differ from player to player, I just think in this formation, the Shadow Striker makes really good runs and really good late runs as well. I find in Playmaker in this position, especially in this formation, because you've got your deep lying playmakers coming past them, they just get really isolated and it just doesn't work as well. You want your deep line playmakers to cover where the cam would be, and then your cam making a diagonal run to show for the ball, and it just makes it so much smoother in the attack. However, if you prefer playmaker, it does work well as well. One thing I would recommend is if you run playmaker, run your wingers on inside forward roaming instead of balanced, and you'll get a lot better sort of movement, I think. But yeah, for me, it's just a little bit too static, man. Both your wingers are on inside forward balanced, and that's bread and butter really. You want fast wingers that can dribble, can put a cross in if needs be, but the majority of the time you're going to try and either Travella shoot with them, or you're going to try and cut back to your striker. That's what this formation is. It's not beautiful football, it's not Joga Bonito, it is simply just there because it's the best formation and it will get you wins. And to that end, the advanced forward attack is the same. It's the best role in the game. Poacher plus works really well here as well, so you could run Poacher attack if you have them, but advanced forward attack just works so well. You want a complete forward here. So I'm running Omega in this formation at the moment, but there's so many. I sometimes drop Malin in there. I've got Suarez if I want to drop a Poacher, Chris Wood the legend if I want another complete forward. But yeah, they'll drop off when they need to on advanced forward attack, so you can build up with them, but then when it's time, they just know perfectly when to make that incisive run, get in behind and score you some goals. Anyway guys, there's not much more to say about the formation really. It's cracked. It's always going to be. It's going to be until the end of the game, I think. But you could easily run this formation the entire game and have no problems. I don't recommend you do that because it's always good to have a bit of adaptability, especially if you come up against someone that's equal or better than you. But yeah, this formation is incredible to start off with. But here's the code on screen for you now, guys. Note it down. If you haven't tried it before, honestly, give it a go. You will definitely get more wins running these simple tactics. But moving on now, like I say, the current meta is very fast counter attacks, and that can get very draining after a while, man. If it's just constantly them bombing against you, you bombing against them, it can just become mind-numbing, and you will lose concentration, and you'll make mistakes. It's just, we're human, it's bound to happen. But what I'd recommend for that, especially if you do come up against someone running the 4-2-1-3, is to have a controlled formation. And what I mean by that is a formation that keeps the ball really well, still incredible on the attack, still really good defensively, but it just controls the ball well. So if they are just bombing and countering you all the time, you can take a step back, just pass the ball around a little bit. And what you'll find is, because they're so sort of inherently trying to do this attack, they'll get frustrated when they don't have the ball. They'll drag players out of position, you can just tiki-taka it around them and score goals. This formation I'm about to show you perfectly counters the 4-2-1-3. And the formation is the 4-2-3-1 wide, and I mentioned it in a previous video a couple of days ago. I honestly feel like this could be the way that the meta goes. It's just an incredible formation, and now that you have that little bit more space on the ball, it's just so easy to find people in this formation, and it's really good against people that are doing fast counters against you, because you've just got the players in the right position at all the times to defend that counter and then to counter yourself. I know it sounds weird running counter on a formation that's controlled, okay? But it just works beautifully in this formation. Getting the players into their attacking positions fast just works so well, and you can just fast tiki-taka it around. It's not like it's through balls and always constant wing play. You still have beautiful movement and beautiful passes, but you don't need to run short passing or balanced. It's the perfect formation. Then again guys, for the line height, for the same reasons as last time, you're going to run 70. It is the meta right now. For the player roles, again, your goalkeeper is personal preference. Both your fullbacks are on fullback and defend. Both your centre backs are on defender, defend. One of your holding midfielders is on holding and defend, with the other one being on deep line playmaker and build up. Your cam is on playmaker and balanced. Both your wingers are on inside forward and balanced. And your striker is on advanced forward and attack. And here's what it looks like with the ball, guys, and I get it. It looks very congested in the midfield, but it doesn't play like this. So your sort of build up DM will go to the left or to the right, and your holding midfielder will cover the right hand side for the pass and then be central when you're in their final third. And then your playmaker sort of cuts back and offers a passing option. So it doesn't exactly look like this, but it's so good for tiki-taka football, man. You've always got an option in this formation. So like with the other formation, the exact reasoning for these positions are exactly the same as the 4-2-1-3. Fullback defend, they need to be plus so that they can get out when they need to, but they hold that line and they hold good positions. Defender defend because it's the best role. It's going to win you more games just simply because you will defend better with defender defend. Now the DMs are where it changes just slightly. So you run one on holding defend. And the reason for that is because it's there to counter the 4-2-1-3 well and to keep control of the ball. What I've found is if you want a quick counter, obviously you want both on deep line playmaker build up, bombing forward. But if you want to have quick tiki-taka football, having one that sort of hangs around on the halfway line is always an out ball if you need to recycle. So in this player, you want someone that's incredible defensively, but don't neglect the passing, because this player will still receive the ball quite a lot even though they're on holding. But primarily defensive is their focus. Someone like Vieira, just tall, strong, good defensively, will work really well because this is your constant interceptor. If you do lose the ball while you're trying to do some tiki-taka football, 9 times out of 10 the opponent's going to try and quick counter you with ping passes. This guy's going to be there to block off the cam, block off their strikers and just make those interceptions so you can get the ball back and start your passing game again. Start building up, keep control of the ball. But that doesn't mean you don't want attacking options. We still want this to be an attacking formation even though it's controlled. So we're going to go deep line playmaker build up. Again, a box to box player works perfectly here. Someone like this Yaya Toure card who will bomb forward, play those incisive killer passes in behind, but also when needs be, run himself, bang a goal in or two. Now for your wingers, they're both on inside forward and balance, which obviously runs exactly the same as a 4-2-1-3. But what I would say is in this formation, it runs a little bit differently. And I run them on balance because if you ran them on attack, it would be pretty much identical to the 4-2-1-3 this. But I don't want that. I want this to counter the 4-2-1-3 and be good on control. So if you have them on inside forward balance, they will take up a little bit more of a defensive position to help out your fullback. And what that means is that in the defence, when it's lined up like this, you've got this holding midfielder, this fullback and this winger in a really close-knit triangle. And that means those ping passes that everyone loves to do out to the wingers are really difficult, so much more difficult than when you're running wingers, because it's just so hard to get through. And it just makes you more solid defensively. And that's why this counters the 4-2-1-3 so well, but also is an incredible formation just to run in itself. Really good defensively, really hard to break down, but when you get the ball, beautiful build up and loads of attacking options. And now for your cam, this differs as well. Obviously I run playmaker balanced here rather than shadow striker, and again the reason for that is because this is a formation all about control. The shadow striker will make diagonal runs to be found by these wingers, to be found by this forward, and that will leave you with a gap here, especially when you've got a holding defender, if I can ever get to him. It will leave a gap in the middle. So I run this on playmaker so that I've constantly got an out ball, be it from my CBs, be it from my fullback. There is always a ping pass into this player because he just is quite static. You still want a good player here. I mean, obviously I'm running 96 Maradona. I prefer that, someone small, agile that can dribble out of tight spaces, but then play a killer pass when needs be. But yeah, you want to keep control of the ball, and this player is always there to recycle if there isn't a forward ball, but also can play those forward balls that just get you in behind. It is incredible in this formation. Shadow Striker still works well. If you're a hoe of that like me, feel free to run it, but yeah, I think for the controlled element, playmaker is the way to go. But here's the code on screen for you now, guys. Make sure you note it down. Like I say, this formation, you could run this from the start and still have really good time. I often do. I really love this formation and it just works so well. But if you are having trouble, if you're struggling with the quick counters and you need to get a little bit more control of the game, switch to this midway through the game and I promise you, you will pass the ball around and keep it so much better. Now this next formation I actually run, I call it anti-counter, don't really know why, but when you come against someone that's running a really deep block all the time and they're countering you in a 4-2-1-3, a 4-2-4, something like that, it's sometimes good when especially if they're pushing their fullbacks forward and stuff like that, it's good to have a formation that runs really well against the counter. And I find to do this, it's really good to have two striker formations because the centre halves really struggle on who to pick up and the strikers just make those incisive runs in between the fullback and CB that just create you loads of opportunities. So I run the 4-4-2 flat, which I think is an incredible balanced formation, really good on the ball, really good at passing, but also vertical tiki-taka with this is incredible. The amount of times your strikers will be running forward, your wingers will be cutting in and running forward, both your CMs will be running forward. You've got so many options in the attack and it overloads the opponent, and even if they are doing that deep block, they're going to struggle to maintain their defence against those 6 players all running at them at the same time. So for the build-up style on most of my formations now, just because it's the meta at the moment, I will be running counter, and again, because it's the meta at the moment, I'll be running a line height of 70. For the player roles, your goalkeeper's personal preference, your fullbacks are on fullback defend, your centre-backs are on defender defend. Are we noticing a pattern? Both your wingers are on inside forward and balanced. One of your CMs is on playmaker attack, with the other being on box to box and balanced. One of your strikers is on advanced forward attack, and the other one is actually on poacher attack. But what I would say at this point, if you don't have poacher plus, you could also run advanced forward support, and it still gives you really good attacking build up. But here's what it looks like with the ball, guys, and it goes into a pretty attacking 4-2-2, which is a great formation in itself. But yeah, works really well, you'll counter really well, and you'll always have an option in behind. But I'm not going to go through the reasons that we use these players and what we use them for, because it's exactly the same as the other formations, okay? But moving forward, inside forward and balance is the same as the 4-2-3-1. You want to be able to cut off the pass to the winger and just be a little bit more defensively. So you keep them unbalanced and they'll help you in the defence. Keep these 2 banks of 4, which make you really difficult to get through. Now for one of your CMs, I run playmaker attack, and this one is personal preference entirely. I play this because I think it is really good on the build-up. I find that it just overloads players so well. And yeah, they're always there for an option. The playmaker attack sort of runs like a bit like a cam, but to one side. So you've always got them as an option for recycle and then a quick ping or a quick through ball over the top to one of your left wingers or your left striker. And in this position, you still want an all-rounder because even though they're playmaker attack, they will still come back and defend. It might just take them a little bit longer to get there. So what I would say is if you do struggle defensively and you have the plus for it, you could always have this player as a deep line playmaker as well, would work equally as well, just gives you a bit more solidity defensively. Now for strikers, like I say, there is a little bit of variation here. I would 100% run one on advanced forward attack because I think that is the best role. They'll always make the running behind when needed, but they'll also come deep if needed as well to receive the ball, and that's where your other striker comes in. I run them on poacher so they're constantly on the shoulder, so that when this one receives the ball on the half turn, this one's already bombing forward and trying to get in behind, and it's just an easy pass on the counter. But like I say, you could run advanced forward support as well, and that just makes them run a little bit wider, again so that when this one comes deep, it's a pass out to the wide, and then hold the ball up with the advanced forward support until this one makes his incisive run in behind. But with any two striker formation, I always recommend running something a little bit different. Advanced forward attack does work on both, but I think it can become a bit too predictable for your opponent. So if you're looking for something that's still balanced but breaks down opponents that are playing really defensively, this 4-4-2 could work for you. So here's the code on screen for you now. Make sure you note it down and give it a go yourselves, because I've had an absolute blast using this formation, especially now there's that little bit more space on the ball. Now this next formation I actually use when I'm under the cosh a little bit and I've got players bombing at me all the time and I'm really struggling to get a foothold in the game. Sometimes it's good to just have a defensive formation, something that's really tough to break down, frustrates the opponents, and just plays on the counter. And this 4-5-1 flat is perfect for just that. Really solid defensively. In my opinion, the best defensive formation in this list, but also still incredible on the attack. You still get loads of options, but you just block off any through ball. It works so well. For your build-up style here, you're actually going to go short passing. I know that I've said that counter is the meta, and it is, but short passing just stops your players from being out of position. Counter, they'll fly forward, and if you lose the ball, you will struggle to get back. Whereas on short passing, they'll show short, they won't make as many runs in behind, but you'll still have plenty of options to attack, so don't worry. But it's purely because short passing not only helps with the tiki-taka build-up to get you in behind, but it also really helps you out defensively, and that your players don't move too far out of position and you're always solid at the back. Even though it's defensive, you still don't want to do anything crazy here. I would still run a line height of 70. For the player roles, your goalkeeper, personal preference. Both your fullbacks are on fullback and defend. Both your centre backs are on defender defend. Your central midfielder is on deep line playmaker and defend, with your other two central midfielders being on box to box and balanced. Both your wingers are on inside forward and balanced, and your striker is on advanced forward attack. And here's what it looks like with the ball, and it's very much like a 4-3-3 flat, but the main thing is that these three CMs will stay close together. The box to boxes will still offer attacking movement, but they'll also come back and defend, and you've got a line of 7 players in your defence, and with the inside forward balanced as well, they'll also come back to sort of this central position. It's just really hard to penetrate this formation, and it will frustrate your opponents, leading to them making mistakes and you getting in behind with this advanced forward attack, 2 box to box central midfielders and your wingers to score some goals. But for all the player roles, guys, everything runs exactly the same. What I'd say is obviously a deep line playmaker, make sure that they are a more defensive midfielder. So here obviously I wouldn't run Rice, I'd probably put Vieira on and bring off Maradona. And then I've got a really solid holding central midfielder, but 2 proper box to box CMs. But yeah, it's all about defending the line, keeping really compact, stopping the opponent from being able to do fast counters, and then when they get frustrated and bring players out of position, you strike like a slippery little snake with 5 attackers all bombing forward. An incredible formation this one, guys, especially if you're looking for more of a defensive build-up. Not that you couldn't run this from the start, you still have attacking options, so if you are struggling defensively, maybe give this one a go from the start. It's good for the full 90 minutes and it might help you get more wins. But yeah, I switch for this when I am struggling. I'm getting counter-attacked a lot. They're probably a bit better than me. I get a defensive formation out and just play purely on the counter. And now finally, guys, we don't want to think about this, but there will be times when you come to the 70th minute and you are losing. 1-0, 2-0. Doesn't matter if you go on to lose 5-0, man. It's better to try and get back in the game than stick to the same thing you've been doing for the 70 minutes and just not go anywhere. Goal difference isn't a thing on FIFA, man. You don't have to worry. So what I do, I always have in my repertoire what I call a Hail Mary approach. and that is just an all-out attack formation that if I'm losing 2-0 in the sort of 70th minute, I switch some players around and just go for the draw, or sometimes even manage to get back into it for the win. And the formation I'm actually currently using for this is the 4-3-3 holding, for not necessarily known as an attacking formation, but you will see why in a second. For the build-up start, obviously it's going all out attack. You want players in attacking roles as quickly as possible, so you're going to run counter. And now what I would say is you could run 95 for the depth. Even though it's been nerfed, it still has the high line. That's not gone, it's just the pressure that's gone. But what I would say is, personally, I find that the stamina drains too fast. So unless you're going to make 5 subs in the 70th minute, I'd stick to 70. For the player roles, your goalkeeper is on personal preference. This is where it gets crazy. Both your fullbacks are actually on wing back and support. Both your central defenders will still stay defender defend. Your holding midfielder is going to be on deep line playmaker and defend, with both your CMs being on box to box and balanced. Your wingers are actually on inside forward and roaming, with your striker, bread and butter, advanced forward attack. And here's what it looks like with the ball. You sort of go into a 2-3-2-3. It is crazy, but it's so many options running forward. So like I've said before, your box to box midfielders aren't going to stay where they are here. They will start making runs into the box. I don't know why Maridona's here, but obviously I'd sub him out. But your deep line playmaker defend will actually go in the middle of where these 2 CMs are showing. And then your wing backs will go a little bit further forward. And it just gives you 8 attacking options in the attack, which is crazy. You are going to overload the opposition. Obviously, you're going to be susceptible defensively. There's no helping that, but that's the point. This is an attacking formation, all out attack. And I've had so much fun with this one recently. Having your wingers on inside forward roaming just means that the AI makes a bit more of a decision of where they should go, offering you more of a passing rather than a through ball ping passing behind. And it just means that you've got really fast tiki-taka in the final third with 8, I repeat, 8 options to pass the ball to. And at least one of them is going to score. It's just going to happen. Their defence cannot hold a line of 8 players coming at them. And that's all you need to do. Keep on attacking, but because of how these are laid out in the attack, you also box in the opponent, finding it really difficult to get out, and then you can just start those attacks all over again, recycle the ball, and score loads of goals. But yeah, I strongly recommend having this in your rotation, guys. I wouldn't recommend running it from the start, but make sure you stick around for the future videos because I will be running this for the full 90 minutes at some point. God help me. But yeah, if you are struggling in a game, you're losing 2-0, don't worry about losing 8-0, man. It doesn't matter. At least give it a go, switch to an ultra-attacking formation and see what you can get. You might just surprise yourself and end up coming away with the win. But that's it, guys. 5 meta formations that I'm running right now in my actual team in Rivals and Weekend League that are gonna help you get more wins. Use them in the scenarios that I've told you to use them in this video, and I promise you, you will get more wins. Don't just stick to the same formation the full 90 minutes all the time. Obviously, if you're winning 3-0, 4-0, whatever, who cares? But if you are struggling, if it's a tight game, the switch of formation can really make a difference and it can help you to get those wins. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to drop it a like, guys. It helps me out no end and it means that other people can see this and helps other people get more wins. And if you're new around here and enjoyed the video, or if any of these formations helped you out, don't forget to subscribe. More meta formations, meta players, all sorts of stuff every couple of days. Anyway, hope you have a great rest of your day. I'll speak to you soon. Bye!